Hey everybody, Nick here, and today I got a review for you of these little guys. These are the BeatsX headphones by the Beats company, like the unts rather than the vegetable. Anyways, so there you go. These are a brand new release for the Beats company. They've had a bunch of wireless Bluetooth headphones out in the past, and so I figured I'd check these out. But first things first, commenters, please put down the pitchforks. Anytime you mention Beats, you get a lot of hate, and frankly, a lot of it's justified, because Beats are 100% overpriced, they are overmarketed, and the sound quality just isn't that great. Seriously, I do sound for a living. This is a thing. So if I want to sit down and do serious listening and hi-fi sort of quality, I've got that. I have a pair of HD 650 Sennheiser headphones sitting at my desk here, and I've got another set at work. I have a digital analog converter. I use lossless audio. I know what good audio sounds like, and I know that this isn't it. But the thing is, these are meant for the times when I'm walking to work, when I'm sitting at the bus stop, I'm riding the freaking bus, where really, even if I had the world's best listening system there with me, I had a little cart complete with an headphone amplifiers and everything, it's going to be fighting a cement truck that just drove by for fidelity. I'm not going to be able to appreciate high-end audio in that situation anyways. So I'll take something that's a little bit more convenient, a little more subtle, for instance. Something that doesn't scream, hey, mug me, I've got a headphone amplifier on me. And so these little guys seem like they would check a bunch of boxes. They have easy pairing, charging, wearing, whatever. So I picked some up for review, and I'll give my final verdict here. So let's talk about the good, the great, the bad, and the ugly of the BeatsX headphones here. So on the good side, first off, these actually do have pretty good Bluetooth reception, meaning that when you pair these guys up to your phone, and I'm using an iPhone 7 for what it's worth, you don't tend to get dropouts if you walk away. I could walk, probably 2 rooms away and have zero problem from my phone there. So that's nice. And there's also no problem with a pocketed phone. I've had it be the case where, for whatever reason, if I carry with these guys, the Power Beats, if I have my phone in my right pocket, sometimes the sound will drop out relative to having it in my left pocket. The signal doesn't travel well through my body, which makes sense. I'm a big sack of water anyways. So, I gotta say, the reception is definitely improved here. Next thing, you've got lots of options in terms of tips for different sizes and shapes. So each one of these is a different tip here, and these are little cots that fit around the headphone to help keep them in your ears in case they fall out. That's a nice thing. You get a lot of good options. You also get a little carrying case and a little extra lightning cable there. So there you go. Next thing, these are very lightweight. I mean, altogether, they kind of disappear. If you hang these guys around your neck, they just hang out there, and it's not something you really feel walking around. These guys are not so bad, but these feel even more lightweight. I do appreciate that very much. One nice little thing that they've got here is a little magnet that holds these two together, which means if you've got this hanging around your neck, all you need to do is put them close to each other, and they will naturally mate over there. And the nice thing about this is that they kind of become a bit of a necklace. This is well designed. This little portion is heavier than the rest, and so one side of it hangs on one side of your neck and the other, and so these guys just kind of hang out like a weird little electronic necklace. And the nice part about it is that, well, frankly, you can forget about it, and it's fine. You can tuck the headphones into your shirt or into your vest, and they kind of disappear. Beautiful, beautiful thing. Next thing on the good side, the volume on these is quite good. They get up to a volume that's frankly louder than I want to listen at, and so that's nice. And they're going to have no trouble fighting, say, a bus for overall sound level. Next thing, they do sound way better than these Power Beats too. These guys, they don't sound that great. I kind of hate these, but they're okay. They've been what I've been using forever. But these guys have a much fuller sound. I mean, you cover them the more of the spectrum, I feel like, using the BeatsX here. You get better volume. These are fine. I mean, I would say they're a little bit better than the built-in headphones that you get off of Apple. Not by a huge margin, but they're okay. They're acceptable headphones, whereas these just not so much. They also work well for taking calls. You can put on your little BeatsX here and then just talk to somebody on the other end, and it's fine. It's no problem. They hear you well. No issues there. There is also a little remote on the cord here, which is a very nice thing. You can see here that there are 3 buttons. There's this top one, which turns the volume up, this bottom one, which turns it down, and this center little one actually will stop or pause whatever it is you're listening to. That is a nice little convenience. It's nice to be able to just reach up and pinch the music on or off as you need be. And it's nicely accessible. It's hanging right off your left ear, no problem. Then finally on the good side, the battery life is fine. Sorry, I review a lot of knives, so battery life is fine. I use these headphones maybe 2 or 4 hours a day, and these get me 2 days worth of use pretty easily. So there you go. That's a beautiful thing. Let's talk about what's great about the BeatsX here. To me, what's great about the BeatsX here is the convenience at a variety of levels. For starters, it uses a lightning cable to charge rather than a little micro USB sort of thing. And look, I don't tend to love the wall garden sort of thing that Apple's got going with the lightning connector. I really hope that Apple goes to USB-C in their phones, in their iPads, etc., as well as ideally in future iterations of this. But the thing is, I'm already deep in that system, and so I've got little lightning chargers around everywhere. This is the one that charges my phone as I'm filming here. And so I plug this little guy in, and then over here someplace, you can see, here we go, that it's charging. And then when it finishes, that'll turn red. That'll turn white, that is. But it's really convenient for me because I already have a bunch of lightning cables around and plugged into things, so I can just pop these guys on any charger. I can charge them in my car. I don't have to worry about having another cable around in the form of micro USB. So that is a big upgrade for me, and it's something that's weirdly missing from the newest version of the Power Beats, the Power Beats 3. So yeah, there you go. Next thing is it's got a quick charge sort of thing, which means that if you charge it for 5 minutes, you get 2 hours of play. That's kind of nice. I mean, I don't go that low very often, but that's a pretty good set of charge. That means, oh crap, my headphones are dead. I'll hang out for 5 minutes, then I can go for a walk. No problem. Next thing is that these are using Apple's little W1 chip. I'm sure that's more marketing than chip making, but nonetheless, what it means is that if these guys are in pairing mode and you hold it up next to your phone, if you've got an iPhone that is, it'll just pop up a little window that says, hey, Nick's BeatsX, and then you press OK, and then you're connected. You don't have to worry about pairing mode. You don't have to worry about a whole lot of anything. It does make it very frictionless. And the most interesting and the best part of these is that everything is linked through your little iCloud cloud account. That's creepy at some level, but it is nice because if I sit down in front of my laptop, for instance, and I want to connect to these guys, I can just go to my laptop and connect Nick's BeatsX, and it'll immediately connect to these without any more pairing, without anything else. So it makes it frictionless to switch back and forth between having these talking to my phone, to my iPad, to my computer. It's a beautiful thing. So overall, the BeatsX are really great at being convenient Bluetooth headphones. You can charge them easily, charge them quickly, the pairing process is easy, and switching it around in devices is just, oh, great. Spectacular. So let's talk about what's bad here. So on the bad side, well, first off, let's be real. The sound quality is not exactly hi-fi. It's not super stellar. I mean, they're fair to middling in terms of sound quality. They're better than Apple's stock earbuds, but not by an incredible amount. So don't buy these thinking that, oh my God, my music is going to sound incredible. I mean, sure, if you've been listening to a pair of headphones that you got in the McDonald's Happy Meal, then yeah, these are going to be a step up. But by and large, all Bluetooth headphones are usually a reduction in sound quality relative to wired headphones. You throw in another compression step in there, and in order to stream at an effective rate, you can't send as much fidelity. It's just a simple fact of life. Some headphones with some Android phones increase that a little bit and get to acceptable levels, but these sure don't. And so these are really meant to be marketable and to be convenient rather than to be sonically excellent. Do not think about these as high-end headphones. Next thing, the cords on these guys are weirdly long. Holy crap. This is already hanging out around your neck, and then you end up with something like 4 inches of cord sticking out in front of you as these are plugged into your ears. Maybe if you are a giraffe, these are just perfectly lengthened for you. But for me, it was a little bit crazy. And so I don't like how long these cords are. It's a little weird. Next thing, these are a little awkward to turn on because you can see here that, well, actually you can't see a whole lot. But there is a button here. It's very small, it's very flush, and you need to hold it down on this slick surface, and then it turns on. But only then. That's a little bit ugly. I would have much rather have something like you hold down on this for 2 seconds and it turns them on. You hold down on this for 2 seconds, it turns them off. That would be a little more reasonable than trying to reach around and grab this. The other weird part is that this control is on the opposite side of the power on button. I don't get that particularly. Next thing, it is not terribly comfortable under a hat. I live in the Michigan, and in the Michigan the winters are a little crazy. I have one of those hats with the flaps down because I am kind of a nerd. And so I will wear that, and when I do have that, these guys are being pressed into my ear canal by the hat, and not so fun way. And because they've got relatively sharp plastic underneath there, they're not comfortable for long periods of time. Not great in that way. Maybe that's more a question of my ears and my hat than these headphones, but it still wasn't a big problem with these bigger guys. Whatever, go figure. The thing that bugs me most about these guys is actually the fact that these require a very strong sort of vacuumy seal to stay in your ear. When you press these into your ear canal, you are really forming a seal with the flesh there. And this is a good thing and a bad thing. It means very good sound isolation. So, for instance, if you're on a bus or you're on a plane or you're in a very loud area, your music is going to be way louder than everything else around you. And that's a nice thing. However, it bothers me because it means that you're kind of disconnected from the situation you're in. It means poor situational awareness, both in the classical sense of you don't know what's going on behind you. You can't hear somebody walking behind you. If you're crossing a street, for instance, you can't necessarily hear a car that's approaching. As opposed to with a design that doesn't go as deep into the ear canal, or even that just kind of sits in front of the ear canal, you don't have this problem. But the other sense is just you miss out on important everyday audio cues. Like, for instance, you slide your little card in the bus, your fare card, and you don't hear the little beep that says that you missed it. And so, that's a little bit strange. And the final thing is anytime you've got something vacuum sealed into your ear, you get a little bit of as you bounce around. So say you're running or you're coming downstairs, you kind of hear a bit of a ka-tunk sort of sound regularly, and that's not something you get from a less sealed system. So the fact that this is a very sealed system with the ear is good for isolation, but it's also really isolating. And it left me feeling like when I was wearing these headphones, I was really taken out of the world, and that's not something I like as I'm walking down the street. Maybe that's just me, maybe that won't bug other people, but I don't like that feeling of disconnection. Let's talk about the ugly here. So on the ugly side, two things. First off, the marketing, I'll be honest, drives me nuts. Because these are marketed as sort of a hip good. They give them to celebrities, to pro athletes, to all sorts of people, trying to make them cool rather than trying to make them excellent. These are really they're marketed to high schoolers as a status symbol, sort of an affair. And I kind of felt a little disgusted with myself for buying these as a result. It's just like, really, am I gonna be cool? No, I'm not gonna be. Anyways, so the marketing drives me crazy. About the headphones themselves, though, the price drives me a little crazy too. These are $150, and that's a lot of money for what basically amounts to a pair of earbuds that sound okay. Maybe even good. Maybe I should be a little more generous to that, but still, this is a ton of money to spend for this, especially when you get most of the performance using just your out-of-the-box wired earbuds. And frankly, with wired earbuds, you don't worry about charging. There are a whole bunch of benefits to using wired headphones over Bluetooth. But the price on these is a little silly. Let's just be real about this. And I like the convenience aspects of them, and if I loved other aspects, they might even stick around, but that's a lot of money to pay for what equates to very little gear here. I don't feel like I'm getting a good value. So let's talk final conclusions here. So look, at some level, these are the very best Bluetooth headphones I've ever owned, and they are very, very nice. And they're nice in a bunch of ways. I mean, form factor, they're lightweight, they're easy, they're straightforward in that way. They got a lot of good convenience features, pairing's easy, charging's easy, and the sound quality is, for a set of Bluetooth headphones, actually pretty decent. It's not, oh my god, hi-fi, but it doesn't need to be. The thing is, though, these are not sticking around in my life because of that sound isolation issue I mentioned earlier. Wearing these guys, I feel like I am completely divorced from the world. I am completely oblivious. And that's a little ugly to me personally, both in the sense of I like to know footfalls behind me, as a slightly paranoid level, but also in the sense of I want to be able to hear a car that's coming up behind me to make a quick right turn before I step out into an intersection. Of course, I'm going to look, but who knows? And so that's a little bit weird to me, and having that little bit of extra background bleed that comes from a set of headphones like this guy, or even from the stock earbuds, is, to me, a beautiful thing. And the weird part about this is those situations where you want that isolation most. Say you're sitting on a plane ride for hours and hours. Nothing's really changing around you. You just want to be listening to music or something. Or maybe you're in the backseat of a car, or you're sitting at work, or you're sitting at home. Those are the situations in which you're really best suited to a set of wired headphones. Because then you don't have to worry about battery life and you can get better fidelity. I don't know. Maybe I'm just a little bit off here. And, I'm sure there are situations where this is a really beautiful thing, and maybe some people aren't bothered by the audio situational awareness thing. But nonetheless, that's why these guys aren't sticking around for me. They are, however, still very nice. If you're considering them, you're willing to pay the very high price, and you're not super concerned about high fidelity sound, you can do a whole lot worse than these. So there you go. They don't quite beat everything in my collection, but at the same time, they're all right. So there you go. That's the BeatsX. I hope this was interesting to you, that my review sounded pretty good, and that you have yourselves an absolutely wonderful rest of your day. Bye now.